what's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about year 2 players. All right, where they're at. We're talking about our 2020 draft class. The impact. Are they going to have any impact or not? This is serious. Got no time. All right. So, man, first of all, before we get started, shout out to all you guys. Thanks for, hanging around. I had some personal issues here I had to take care of. Son had some surgery, so we've been taking care of him here for the week. So that got kind of serious, but kind of got away here for a little bit to give you guys some content for today. Shout out to all you guys. Thanks for being understanding and rocking with me through the off season. So let's get right into it. Year 2 players. How are they going to contribute this year? Are we going to have any sophomore slumps from any of these guys? Or are these guys going to be ascending players? All right, that's what we hope. So let's get right into it. All right, the first guy that we drafted in 2020, CeeDee Lamb. All right, 74 receptions, 935 yards. His average was 12.6, and he had 5 touchdowns. So CeeDee Lamb, pretty impactful player right out the gates. He fell into the Cowboys' lap there in the draft, and the Cowboys, they couldn't pass on the talent. You know what I mean? So I expect him to excel again here in year 2. I think the opportunities will be frequent and often, especially with the rapport that he started to build with Dak Prescott, getting Dak back into the fold along with CeeDee Lamb. These guys are going to grind. This is the future on the offense. I don't think a lot of us expect the Cowboys to be able to bring back Gallup. So this is a contract year for him. Amari Cooper's still that high octane Ferrari, so he'll be here for another few years here. But the future and present is CeeDee Lamb. I think he's a cornerstone player, even above Ezekiel Elliott. I think this offense is transforming into something more of an aerial attack than it is the ground game. Okay, but CeeDee Lamb in year 2, my expectations are high, and I think there will not be a sophomore slump from this player. I think that he showed in the offseason before the season started that he was ready to rock and roll. You kind of see him again working out here. Obviously, you like to see that. So year 2 for CeeDee Lamb, I expect big things from him. All right, so that player there, ascending. All right, stock rising on that one there. Stock is up for CeeDee Lamb. Let's look at the next player, Trayvon Diggs. Right, in 2020, 58 tackles. He had 1 sack, 3 interceptions, deflections, pass defense, 14 of them, and 1 forced fumble. So Trayvon Diggs right out the gate, threw him into the lion's den right out the gate. You know what I mean? Going up against the top wide receivers in the league. I think that's going to bode well for him. He's already battle hardened. All right, came from a good program there with Alabama, obviously, and now it's about finding the player opposite of him to really lock down these receivers. But I think you have Trayvon Diggs, to me, could be your cornerback 1 on this team. We don't know what Kelvin Joseph will be. That we drafted him high, but there's we'll have to see. Same thing with Nashawn Wright. We'll see what he's about. All right, but Cowboys are definitely throwing a lot of draft capital at the defense, and it started last year. We need to remember that. As we go through these picks, the Cowboys did throw a lot of, picks at the defense. But Trayvon Diggs, to me, I like the way he plays the run. He doesn't, go away. He doesn't shy away from getting into the run game. So he'll stick his nose in the scrum. You don't see him making business decisions as we have in some of our previous cornerbacks. I think Trayvon Diggs is a different cut. All right. Now, the only thing, like I've said before, you do need a good backup there because the Diggs brothers, Stephon and Trayvon, they have had foot issues. And I will continue to say that because it's true. They both have had feet issues. I don't know if it's a degenerative thing, a genetic thing, or what it is, but you do need to keep that in mind. You do need to make sure you have protected yourself there. And I think the Cowboys did. They threw some bodies there, so I think we'll be good there. But for Trayvon Diggs, I expect him to play really well. Like I said, going up against those high-end wide receivers, going through the adversity, especially last season, I think you're going to get good production out of Trayvon Diggs. He has a knack for the ball. 3 interceptions. I expect more of that, more of the same, and more playmaking ability on the field. So it's a good centerpiece there in the secondary. I think it starts there with Trayvon Diggs. He's the first piece of that puzzle in that secondary. So I like that one there. Moving on to the third round, we got Navorro Gallemore. They kind of, worked him into the lineup, and he really started turning it on towards the end of the season. And you did see some potential there. 28 tackles, half sack, 4 tackles for losses. You want to see that number go up, but it's a good, as a rookie, that shows he's getting it in the backfield and busting up plays, and we did see that in the goal line. We saw that in the San Francisco game, and just really laying the wood, getting in the backfield and busting up players and making them think twice going up the middle when Gallemore's there. Now, that really wasn't, offenses weren't scared of the defense last year, but this is a good piece to have in this puzzle. Okay, he had 4 quarterback hits, so getting in there and letting the quarterback know he's there. So 3 tech, and remember in 2020 he was the fastest defensive tackle in the 40, so he does have speed. So Cowboys talking about speed. They did add it there with Diggs and Gallemore. Gallemore is one of the faster defensive tackles for his size. So you do have speed in that regard there. So in the third round, Navorro Gallemore, I think he's going to produce really well for us in year 2. I feel good about him getting, coached up by Coach Quinn. He is a defensive coordinator, but he did say he was going to get more into the mix there. Coaching these defensive line players, that's his bread and butter. He likes to do it. So I love that. I really do. And you kind of saw that in the rookie minicamp, working with Osa Digizua and some of these other guys, Bohanna. So you like to see that, and you're going to see him work with Gallemore as well. These guys are young, and another defensive pick in 2020. So that's a good one there. Now, moving on to the 4th round, the Cowboys grabbed Reggie Robinson. Okay, the forgotten man. They're going to move him from safety to cornerback. Was it really even a move? He didn't really get on the field, as you can tell here by the 2020 stats. 1 tackle, no sacks, no interception, no pass deflections. He did have 1 forced fumble. Okay, so he did have 1 big splash play, and I think that was in special teams. So not much production there. Couldn't sniff the field. I don't know if it was a Mike Nolan thing or not. And I'm not going to say that he has no chance on this team just because Dan Quinn is here. This is still a Mike McCarthy draft pick. Okay, they're not just going to say none of these guys have a shot because Nolan is not here. Nolan was not the head coach. I mean, he was the defensive coordinator, but the head coach is still here and had a big piece of, getting these people in here. So Reggie Robinson, I think, will have the opportunity to compete. He is a McCarthy draft pick. All right. I liked him coming out of Tulsa. You saw the interceptions go up. He was an ascending player there at Tulsa, and he has a very good knack for the ball in special teams. So I think he has a good niche there. You know what I mean? So if you're talking about a fringe player, somebody that might be on the bubble, it could be Reggie Robinson, but I wouldn't completely say, he's not going to make the team because we drafted all these guys with length. All right. So let's, just because of that, I'm not going to, throw dirt on the player. I liked him out of Tulsa, and I think that Quinn will see something in him. He's already evaluated him and said that he's a cornerback. Okay, so he sees something there in him already. So I like that. Now, what will he be? I think he will be a bubble player, regardless. You know what I mean? So didn't see much action last year. They drafted a lot more in the secondary. The room is very full right now. Okay, so they're gonna sift through. May the best man win. That's what you want anyway. So we'll see who you want the foam to rise to the top, and I think it will, especially here in year 2 for Reggie Robinson. The other 4th round pick, Tyler Biadasz. Okay, 2020. Games available were 12. He was available for 12 games. All right, games played were actually 4, and he started 3 of those games. Okay, so Tyler Biadasz, the knock on him, and the reason why he fell in the draft was the injuries. Okay, this is the biggest thing that is going to hold Tyler Biadasz back. All right. And in Wisconsin in 2018, he had that hip injury. He had, that issue to deal with. And then in 2019, he didn't participate in the combine. He had arthroscopic shoulder surgery, to clean something out there. So, he's had some off seasons where he wasn't available. Okay, so this 2020 off season will probably be the first time Tyler Biadasz will have a full off season to strengthen, to get better, and that sort of thing. So Tyler Biadasz for me is your center one, but it's all contingent on his health. All right, and I think the Cowboys, kind of have some protection there with McGovern. He can give you that flex, and then they have Fournier in the back pocket as well. If things get kind of crazy, you do have some players that you can shuffle around, but we don't want to play the shuffle game this year. We need these guys to be healthy. Tyron, we know that he will miss games. He might miss 8 games. Will he play 10 games if we're lucky? So we know he'll miss time. Tyler Biadasz, young though. If you start getting injured again, okay, so last year he went on IR because of a hamstring. Okay, so 18, 19, 20, you're starting to stack injuries. If you're not careful here, you can get slapped that injury prone tag real quick. All right, real quick. Just being real with you guys, okay? We don't want this to be a Jacob Rogers type of situation. If you remember, Cowboys drafted him in the 2nd round under Bill Parcells. The knee flared up. He never could get healthy. He could never get into the mix. So Tyler Biadasz, this is a work in progress. I do have him as my center one. I liked how he looked when he did start. The thing with him will be, can he stay healthy a full season? All right, so let's keep an eye on that one there. But I don't see a sophomore slump from any of these guys that we have talked about thus far. Let's get to the next player here, and that is Bradley Anae. Okay, Bradley Anae, we drafted him in the 5th round of the 2020 draft. So year 2. Okay, let's see what he does. In 2020, you see the stats there. No tackles, no sacks, no tackle for losses. He did have 1 quarterback hit, and that was in the Giants game, and really the one snap that you really saw him on the field on a blitz, and he did hit the quarterback. So that was a cameo appearance. You know what I mean? There was something about the staff. They just didn't really want to get him on the field. Some people will say his 40 is this and that, but if you looked at my in the lab, his short distance is right there with the best in the league, and that's what you need out of a guy like this. If you're gonna bring him in here as a DPR type of player, he has that short distance burst to get off the line really quick and bring the pressure. And I mean, you did see that in that one snap. So there is something to work there with Bradley Anae. Okay, and as far as like the defensive end room, it's not really that full. I mean, they did add Golston. That's going to be your Tyrone Crawford replacement for me. Odigizua on the defensive tackle position. He gives you some flex as well. For me, I want Bradley Anae to push off Dorrance Armstrong and some of these other guys. Okay, now I think he's a better pass rusher than Armstrong. So you do need pass rushing specialists in this defense. It can't just be Lawrence and Gregory. All right, and expect them to throw some defensive ends in the 2022 draft. They will come out of that draft with an edge rusher early. I have a feeling. You know what I mean? Because you do have Lawrence kind of getting up there in age. Gregory, we've had him since 2015. Let's see how he looks this year. Okay, but I think he'll do good. But Bradley Anae, I have him in the same situation as Reggie Robinson. I think Anae and Robinson are kind of bubble players, but they will have the opportunity. You know what I mean? These are McCarthy draft picks, so they'll have their shot. Let's see how they get in the mix here and contribute. Let's see how they contribute. And then to close out the draft, the Cowboys went with Ben DiNucci, okay, the quarterback in 2020. 219 yards, 5.1 per pass. That's not good at all. And he fumbled the ball 4 times. He did recover 2 of those, but you can't lose the ball, okay? Now, I know when we threw him into the fire, whenever Prescott was left out there, and we had injuries all over the place last year, and we had really no option but to throw him out there. Dalton got the cheap shot, the concussion, so they had to throw in DiNucci, and they started him that following game, and it was a complete, utter disaster. Okay, but he's still a very raw player. You saw that in the game. the unorthodox, way that he throws the pass. It's unorthodox for sure. So I don't know if that's something that they want to work on the mechanics or what. But he does need to be more. He has to be better with the ball, and he did do that in college too. He was a little bit reckless as well. He's a little bit of a gunslinger and a risk taker. Okay, we knew that. We covered that last year when we talked about DiNucci, and we did see it again on the field here when he got the shot. But as a rookie, with your offensive line blown up and all these guys missing, it was going to be a hard task. So where will he be this year? I think he'll have a shot. Now the question will be, will the Cowboys carry 3 quarterbacks? Do they want to continue to develop DiNucci? Will he get cut and stash him on the practice squad? For me, I kind of feel that he's more of a practice squad player, to be 100% with you guys, just from what I saw. Now, can he make that big leap here? Maybe, but it's going to have to be big. He's going to have to show marked improvement, and that's going to come in the preseason, all right? And he'll get the opportunity in the preseason. You're probably going to see Prescott for, a small amount of time, if anything. You know what I mean? So they're going to get a good look at these backup quarterbacks, whether it's Gilbert, and I do like him as our number 2. I know the Cowboys are kicking around the tires on some of these washout quarterbacks, but I like what Gilbert did. You know what I mean? I really do. Now, the only thing about Gilbert, he doesn't have that athleticism to run some of these RPOs, but he's pretty accurate and smart with the ball. You know what I mean? And that's really all you need. If you just need a backup for a small length of time, you're good. If you need a backup for a long period of time, your season's done. All right? So that's how I think about backup quarterback for DiNucci, right there with Anai and and Robinson, but probably even more, because I think that they're actively looking for another quarterback. They looked at some in the draft. They looked at the kid out of A&M. They looked at a couple of other quarterbacks. So they were kind of kicking around the idea of possibly drafting a quarterback. All right. So maybe next year they do that when they have a little bit more flexibility. And right now the concentration is this defense. But guys, let me know what you guys think about the year 2 players here. Who do you think will contribute big time? For me, it's Lamb, Diggs, Gallemore, Brate, contingent on the health, Anai and Robinson. They'll be in the mix. Let's not throw dirt on those guys. They can play. Okay, now it's going to be about pushing off some of the other remnants of the Garrett era guys. So Dorrance, some of these other guys. All right, so DiNucci, we'll see there, guys. But let me know what you guys think about the year 2 impact players. Who will have the biggest impact? Does anybody scare you as far as having a sophomore slump? I'm not afraid of any of that. I would say my biggest question mark from these guys will be the health of Tyler Biadasz. All right, guys. Continue to like, subscribe, and share, guys. I'll see you for the next video. Peace.